Hello everyone, and welcome back to this Python programming course where you are going to learn everything you need to get started programming in Python. In this video, we are going to look at list in Python. So let's get started. Lists in Python are ordered and have a definite count. The elements in a list are indexed according to a definite sequence, and the indexing of a list is done with 0 being the first index. Each element in the list has its definite place in the list, which allows duplicating of elements in the list, with each element having its own distinct place and credibility. In Python, a list is created by placing elements inside square brackets separated by comma. For example, here we have list of integers. My list equals to 1, 2, 3, prog list, C++, Python, C, and C#. A list can have any number of items, and they may be of different types, as in integers, floating point numbers, strings, etc. For example, we have an empty list, my list. Then we will fill the empty list, my list equals to 1, hello, 3.4, showing that a list can have different types. A list can also have another list as an item. This is called a nested list. For example, here we have nested list, my list equals to mouse, then another list 846, another list A. There are various ways in which we can access the element of a list. We can use the index operator to access an item in a list. In Python, indices start at 0, so a list of 5 elements will have an index from 0 to 4. For example, we have my list having elements GITWOCS. Then we want to print the first item, print my list index 0 for the first item. Then we print the third item, print my list at index 2, and the fifth item will be print my list at index 4. So if we save this and run, we have GTO printed to the screen, with G being the first item of the list, T being the third, and O being the fifth item of the list. Trying to access indexes other than these will raise an index error. The index must be an integer. We can't use float or other types. This will result in a type error. We have print my list with index 4.0, and when I click on enter, we have list indices must be integers or slices, not float. We should keep note that nested lists are accessed using nested indexing. For example, we have n list equals to happy 2015. We print n list at index 0 and index 1 using a nested indexing. The item at index 0 is happy, and then adding another indexing, which is 1, should give us the character at index 1 in the first item. When we press enter, we have A, telling us that A is the element at index 0, 1 in our list. If we print n list 1, 3, we have 5 printed to the screen. Another way of accessing list elements is by using negative indexing. Python allows negative indexing for its sequences. The index of -1 refers to the last item, -2 to the second to the last, and so on. For example, we have negative indexing in list. Fruits equals to banana, apple, kiwi, pawpaw, orange, and grapes. To print the last item, we print fruits at index -1, and to print the fifth last term, we print fruits at index -5. So if we save this and run, we have grapes for the last item and apple for the fifth to the last item. We can access a range of items in a list by using the slicing operator. For example, we have my list equals to C++, HTML, Java, Python, JavaScript, C#, C, and PHP. To print elements from index 2 to index 4, we print my list with index 2:5. To print elements from index 5 to the end, we print my list 5 colon and with null number at the end. And then to print elements from the beginning to index 5, we print my list colon 6. And finally, to print elements from the beginning to the end of the list, we print my list and we simply put a colon with no number. So if we save this and run, we have Java, Python and GS as the first response from 2 to 5, then C#, C, PHP from 5 to N, then C++, HTML, Java, Python, GS from beginning to 5, and C++, HTML, Java, Python and all the like from beginning to end. Note, when we slice list, the start index is inclusive but the end index is exclusive. For example, my list 25 returns a list with elements at index 2, 3 and 4 but not 5. Lists are mutable, meaning their elements can be changed, unlike strings or tuple. We can use the assignment operator equals to change an item or a range of items. For example, we have our list odd equals to 2, 4, 6, 8. To change the first item in the list, we have odd at index 0 is equals to 1. This should replace the first item in the list. Then changing the second to the fourth items in the list, we have odd 1 colon 4 and we replace it by 3, 5, 7, which is another list. So if we save this and run, we have 1, 3, 5, 7 printed. That is, our list has completely been modified. Elements can be added to the list by using the built-in append function. Only one element at a time can be added to the list by using this append method. For the addition of multiple elements with the append method, loops are used. For example, we will create an empty list, print initial blank list, then we print the list, then addition of elements in the list, we list.append 1, list.append 2, list.append 4. Then we print the list after addition of the 3 elements. So if we save this and run, we have our initial blank list, then list after addition of the 3 elements, we have 1, 2 and 4. You can also add elements to a list using an iterator. For example, if we save this and run, we have our initial blank list, then list after addition of elements from 1 to 3, which is 1, 2 and 3. Next, we look at how to use the insert method to add new elements to a list. Append method only works for the addition of elements at the end of the list. For the addition of elements at the desired position, insert method is used. Unlike append, which takes only one argument, the insert method requires 2 arguments, that is the position and the value. For example, we have our list 1, 2, 3, 4, then we print the initial list. Then addition of elements at specific positions, list.insert, we have the position 3. Then we have the value 12, then list.insert, we have the position 0 and we have the value it works. So running the program, we have our initial list 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the list after performing the insert operations, we have getworks 1, 2, 3, 12 and then 4. So we added getworks at index 0 and we added 12 at index 3. Other than append and insert methods, there is one more method for addition of elements. That's the extend method. This method is used to add multiple elements at the same time at the end of the list. You should note that append and extend methods can only add elements to the end of a list. So we have our Python program to demonstrate the addition of elements in a list using the extend method. We have our list 1, 2, 3, 4, then print initial list. Then we go to the addition using the extend method. Here we have list.extend 8 hello and world. So we now print the result and we have our initial list 1, 2, 3, 4 and list after performing the insertion operation we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 hello then world. Elements can be removed from the list by using the built-in remove function, but an error arises if the element does not exist in the list. Remove method only removes one element at a time. To remove a range of elements, the iterator is used. The remove method removes the specified item. Note that remove method in list will only remove the first occurrence of the searched element. For this example, we have a list of numbers ranging from 1 to 12. Then we print the initial list. Then we have removing elements using the remove method, list.remove 5 and list.remove 6. Print list after removal of 2 elements. Then we print our list. So printing this out, our initial list with items from 1 to 12, then our list after removal, we see that 5 and 6 are absent. So that is how to use the remove method to remove items from a list. You can also remove multiple elements from the list using the remove method and an iterator. For this example, we have a for loop to remove elements in the list. So we have for I in range 1 to 5, list.remove I. And if we run this, we have all the elements from 1 to 5 being deleted. The pop function can also be used to remove and return an element from the list, but by default it removes only the last element of the list. To remove an element from a specific position of the list, the index of the element is passed as an argument to the pop method. For example, we have a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Removing elements using the pop method, we have list.pop. Then we print the list after popping an element. Then we can also remove an element at a specific location. For that, we have to specify the index. So list.pop2, print list after popping a specific element. So we have as output list after popping an element 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we see 5 is absent. Then we have list after popping a specific item, what was at index 2, which was 3. So we now have our list with 1, 2, and 4. Finally, we can also delete items in a list by assigning an empty list to a slice of elements. For example, we have a list of letters PROBLEM. My list 2 to 3, the slice 2 to 3, we assign to it an empty list. Then we print the list and we have PRBLEM saying that O is not more present, O has been deleted. Then if we hide my list 2 to 5 and we assign to it an empty list, we have my list PRM with all the other letters being deleted. Just like in strings, concatenation and repetition of items in the list goes the same way. For example, odd equals to 135. We have odd plus 975 and we have 135 975, and if we multiply odd times 3, we have 135 135 and 135. You can use a for loop to iterate through each item in a list. For example, so we have fruits, apple, banana and mango. For fruit, that is for a fruit in fruits, print I like fruit. So the output of this will be I like apple, I like banana, and I like mango. We can test if an item exists in a list or not using the keyword in. For example, we have our list PROBLEM. If we print P in my list, the output should be true because P is found in my list. If we print A in my list, we should have a false because we don't have any A in my list. Then if we print C not in my list, we should have a true because C is not in my list. So the output of this is true, false, then true. Python has many useful list methods that make it really easy to work with lists. Here are some of the commonly used list methods. We have the index, which returns the index of the first matched item. So for this example, we have fruits, apple, banana, pawpaw, kiwi, and pineapple. Fruits.index of pawpaw is 2, so the output is 2. Next, we will look at the count method, which returns the number of times the specified element appears. We have a list number equals to 2, 3, 5, 2, 11, 2, 7. Number.count of 2 gives us 3. telling us that there are 3 occurrences of 2 in our list. Next, we will look at the reverse method, which reverses the elements of the list. For example, to reverse the elements of the list numbers created above, I simply write number.reverse and I print number. So we now see that 7 2 11 2 5 3 2, which is the reverse of the string we had before. We will also look at the sort method, which sorts the elements of a given list in a specific ascending or descending order. Using our list above, we have number.sort, then we print number and we have 2 2 2 3 5 7 11, meaning our list has been sorted in ascending order. Then we have the clear method, which removes all items from the list. For example, if I type number.clear and then I try printing number, we have an empty list that appears to the screen. So this is basically it for this video, but before we end this video, I am going to paste a practical exercise here for you to keep learning and implementing the concept of list in Python. The link to the solution to the practical exercise is attached in the video description below, but before you check it out, make sure you try writing the code first. In our next video, we are going to look at tuples in Python. So, see you soon.